I mean, I'll just do it manually. I don't know.
Yeah, that one pin might not be making
straight.
contact.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Got to put the date on. For historical purposes.
Sit down.
April 19th, 1992. 8:16 a.m. It's right after Passover. And Daniel Murphy. Okay, Murphy. Let's go to the newspaper here.
This is a tragedy.
Get it. Just knock it. Is it out of coffee? Okay, we'll let him fix it. Okay, here is the thing. Yeah, Pongo, you want Pongo? Here you go. Okay.
What we're gonna do is I'm gonna ask Uncle Ben, like, the name of his father, because you don't have the first name of his father or the first name of his mother
Right.
over here. So we'll start with Uncle Ben's parents, and then we're gonna ask him about his grandparents. And well, if you don't care if I write it down.
No.
you know.
Oh, no.
I don't remember my grandparents.
Wait a minute. Are we on camera or are we on a run?
You're on live.
Okay. First thing we want to do is ask Uncle Ben about what was your father's first name?
Joseph.
Joseph. And your mother's name?
Seymour?
Libby.
Libby.
Yeah.
Libby, and her last name?
Polisky.
No, before she was married.
Graverman.
Braverman. And you don't know the grandparents' name?
No. I was born, they were gone. There was no, I don't remember no grandparents.
No grandparents on the Braverman or the Polisky side?
That's right.
How many brothers and sisters did Libby have, Uncle Ben?
We had, well, altogether we have 4 and 4. I mean, but only actually it was 3 and 4. We had 4 sisters and 4 brothers.
No, in your family, but Libby.
Libby.
Your aunts and like Libby's brothers and sisters.
Oh, I don't know. What's it called?
Thank you.
I don't know much about that.
You don't know much of it. Well, you knew that there was Uncle Doodle.
Well, she had some brothers. I remember some, but I don't know all of them. I don't. Doodle, there was Doodle, and there was. See, I know she had 2 sisters.
Fega was what?
Fege and Hannah.
Hannah?
Yeah,
Any others?
I can't think of it. You see, Uncle Shield, wife's father was my mother's brother.
Okay, which one? Was it Doodle or?
No, neither one of them. He was, I can't think of his name.
He wasn't the guy we called Uncle, was it? Remember there was a guy we called Uncle?
Oh no, that's Uncle, no, that's Doodle, David. Yeah, he was, we called Uncle Doodle. But she had, let's see, what was his name? I can't recall. She had married a cousin.
The first cousin or second cousin?
First
First cousin?
And her father was my mother's brother also. And you know what? I don't remember his wife. I don't remember.
You're talking about the Circa's wife.
Circa's mother.
Your aunt.
Circa's mother, I don't remember.
Yeah. Did they come to the United States? Or did they stay Well, Auntie Circa married Uncle Shia in the United States,
In the
right?
United States, she came here. She came to the United States, and they got married here. And but her mother and father were in Europe, were regician. They actually remained there.
Oh, they didn't come over then.
No,
Do you think that there's parts of the family still over there?
well, you see, right now, at the present time, there was some people called Benny. Benny, when they're related, and they're in New York now. And they also are relatives. And they said there was no Jews in Rishon no more, because as soon as this broke up, all the Jews were running away because going for better living. See, earlier Jews were not allowed to go to different. They were supposed to stay where they were born. But after the Communist Party was broke up, for a fact now, he says Jews are going back to Russia because there will be better opportunities. Although anti-Semitism didn't stop altogether, it's still there, but there are much better opportunities. They can go, they can look for businesses, it's wide open.
Did you ever know the names of your Polisky uncles, the ones that lived in Registerburg? You know, did you know their names?
No, not much, no.
But there were 3 Polisky brothers that your father had, right?
Oh, at least 3 or maybe more.
Or maybe more.
Yeah, or maybe more, that I have never knew. We have no contact with them whatsoever.
Uh-huh. Uncle Ben, we figured out that my father was born in 1898, and you, Auntie Ida was born between you and my father, right?
That's right.
So Auntie Ida was probably born in 1900, right? Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And you were either 1902 or 1903 then, right? I mean, honestly, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's, yeah.
So that would mean here in 1992, this might be your 90th
And
birthday.
the birthday anyway, see.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I figured that Ida would have been about 90 now,
Uh-huh.
and I would have been a year or 2 less. But for sure, I don't know.
For sure, you're not sure.
So I go 92, which is a very, I know it's not my age, but I gotta go along for what I've established.
Yeah, because once you establish the record, it gotta, you know,
Yeah,
stay.
well, when am I gonna go through the security? Say, look, but you see, I had my driver's license. I was at least 3-4 years younger. And in the army, I remember for sure that I was born in 1903.
In the Army, it was 1903?
Yeah,
So your Army record showed 1903 then.
I think so.
But when you first came over, you said that you were born in 1899 in order to get a work permit, right? You know, as quickly as you could.
Well, I didn't establish that. They didn't, for years I was going on, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't
You
know,
weren't
but
sure.
then we were gradually told that that's what they do. They changed our age. We should, see, when we came here, who paid attention to how old you were? You were going, I think she could, yeah, Auntie Dora, she should rest in peace. She put us in school. I went to grammar school. And that's where she put the ages up.
So she pushed it up
Yeah.
somewhat in order to she felt like she was doing everybody, you know,
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to do the right thing for everybody.
Yeah.
But it looks like, I mean, if the best information we have, you were born on the second night of Hanukkah,
Yeah.
either in 1902 or 1903.
Either one, yeah, either one of those dates.
But when you came here, you had to, it was hard to translate what the second night of Hanukkah was to the normal calendar, so you chose Thanksgiving Day, right?
Yeah, you see,
Or November 25th.
see, there is not, I may get some, I don't know. We have passport that be okay. I think Pitchy has it. And we got some names. I came on a half a ticket, see, so I must have been younger.
What year was that when you came?
13,
1913,
right before the World War One.
yeah.
See, because we came in July. You know, one time, I don't know who I was talking to. See, some of they were going to make a family tree.
Uh-huh.
So, that was, let me see, whose daughter was that?
That's Eddie and Sylvia's, Bonnie.
Bonnie, there was someone else that was doing it. So I had so I got a hunch, and I want to make sure when the boat came. So I went to library, and I found a book, and I found the date when the boat came.
What was the name of the boat?
Breslau.
The Breslau was, and it was a big
And-
steamer, you know?
And it was a very slow boat. It took 22 days for us to come
From Rotterdam?
from Berlin or
Oh,
something.
well, it wouldn't have been
Germany.
Berlin, but it would have been one of the ports in Germany.
Bremen.
Bremen,
Bremen, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But Bremen, they took us because so I found that book, and I mean, they helped me over there in the library. They gave me the book, telling me, and you know what? A list of names.
And your name was on the list.
Yeah.
Was our name in Russia spelled Polisky? Was it spelled like it is spelled here?
Yeah, some of it though, I don't remember exactly. I should get, but we started it that way, and that's the way we were going. See? But somebody writes your name, they put an N on it.
Yeah, some people put an N in it, Polinsky rather
Yeah,
than
even if you don't even tell them, they put it on anyway.
But it really, as far as your memory and all that, it was always Polisky.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
See, so I don't know if it was changed or not, but that's the way we went by. And I think I got my, and if I look at my box, I think I got my diploma from grammar school.
What was the name of the grammar school you went to?
Huh?
What was this grammar school you went to?
Grant Goodrich on Sangamon and Taylor. That I remember real well.
And you graduated from elementary school then?
Yeah, sure.
And did you go to
I
high
went to
school?
Crane for 2 years. I went to Crane.
You went to Crane also?
Sure.
Benny Polisky went to Crane too, and
Yeah, he was telling me.
Yeah.
I went to Crane also. At that time, it was a boys' school. There was no girls.
I think that's true even later on, because it was always vocational school, you know.
I think not now. I think
Yeah, now it's co-ed, yeah.
Yeah.
But when you came over, who came with you? Who was with you?
Oh, my mother and father, Ida, Sarah, and me.
So there were,
There were
2, 4,
five
5 of you, yeah. Did you stay in a cabin, or, you know, what was the ship like? Where did you sleep?
Oh, no cabin. And the ship, there was bunks, one on top of each
So
other.
did you have 5 bunks, one on top
Yeah,
of the
one
other?
on top of each other.
Uh,
That was the ship, and I was, you know, in Philadelphia, I walked off the boat, and I just walked off And I walked back on, and nobody ever stopped me.
So they were pretty relaxed
And I
about it.
was a young kid. See, we were going with Uncle Doodle's family, but when it came to the boat, we were separated. They got a different boat, and we got a different
Well,
boat.
who was with Uncle Doodle?
Uncle Doodle, that's my mother's
brother.
brother.
Yeah.
He was here, and but they were with us, but in they part of the way, and then they separated, and we went on this boat, and I remember I didn't know what was going on, but I know Nathan Sapolsky's sister, I think Nathan too was, I don't remember, but Nathan was on the boat too, but one of his sisters, I think it was two sisters, they were on the boat with us. That's relatives.
On your boat.
On our boat, yeah.
But on the
Oh,
other
but-
boat, Uncle Doodle, how many people did he have with him?
My Uncle Doodle was here, but...
Oh, he was here, but his
yeah,
family.
but, his family was coming here, they were 4 or 5 people too, or 6, I don't remember. You know, I was very sick on the boat,
Seasick?
seasick.
That's where I caught it from. I get seasick too all
I
the
got
time.
so seasick on the boat, it was terrible. But
Were you the only one, Uncle Ben,
Huh?
or was other people seasick too, or?
yeah, but I couldn't eat, well, nobody took care of me, it wore off, that's all, it wore off.
I get seasick all the time myself. I think that's a Polisky malady. So when you came in that, you got off the boat in Philadelphia, did you go to New York then from Philadelphia? Or?
No, that's the whole trouble with this boat. It carried a large cargo, I think with Baltimore.
Oh, went to Baltimore. So
Baltimore.
how did you get from Baltimore, then you went to New we
We were not, the boat stopped in New York,
Yeah.
it stopped in Philadelphia and unloaded, but we were on the boat. In Philadelphia, we had some relatives came to visit us
Uh-huh.
on the boat.
Is that right? They came to see you on the boat?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we had relatives.
Well, the Bravermans, there were some Bravermans living in Philadelphia then, weren't there?
We have some, we had some relatives on the boat.
So you actually got off the boat in Baltimore then, right?
Baltimore. We took a train back from Baltimore to Chicago. We took,
A train over
Yeah.
there. How long did that take you?
at that time, it didn't take long. The boat I think we came in the evening, and in the morning we were here with the
train.
With a train.
Who met you at the train when you came in?
Your father, Shula, Max.
Max?
And your
Andy
father.
Dara, probably?
Your father, I was wearing a Russian cap. Your father took it, threw it in the garbage right away.
You said you can't wear that anymore. What about Auntie Dora must have been there, and Sam?
Uncle, yeah, and Sam, and your father, Shula, and I think that's about this. See, they came to New York originally. Uncle Max came to New York,
Uh-huh.
and then she, Uncle Sam, she and your father, they were going together to the United States afterwards,
Uh-huh.
and she didn't pass. That's when she had these problems.
Yeah, they held him back.
Yeah, they held him back because his eyesight was bad.
Yeah.
But he came, he had sense enough to come anyway.
Well, he had the Polisky ingenuity, right?
Yeah. Well, see, that's where he was with the women, very much so. That's what we have most of it inherited. And he was a woman's man. Oh, even here, when he used to go to, he used to go to night school. He didn't learn nothing, but 3, 4 girls he used to bring home. And they used to follow him home. All the time, women was following him home. He was very much of a ladies' man. He was a very good-natured person.
Yeah, he was a good-natured man.
Yeah, she was a very good. He was. I don't. If he had anything, your father used to talk him out of it all the time. He did. Yeah, he had. But he was. That. I remember. Well, we had it. Well, we had it nice over here. Then.
Where did you guys all live when you first came here, you know?
We had on Racine. It's Center Avenue.
Racine and Central?
No, Racine, Roosevelt Road.
Oh, and Roosevelt Road.
Roosevelt Road and Racine. On Roosevelt Road we live.
Yeah, I'm picturing where that is. Yeah, I remember where Racine is.
Yeah, it's about, well, it's about a couple blocks from Oakland Avenue. Oakland Avenue was over there. Maxwell Street was close by. And that's where we used to go. 14th Street. On 14th Street, and I think on Oakland one was a Jewish theater at that time, a movie house, and the push carts, all the Jewish people used to come and rent a push cart, sell their wares over there. We used to go there. But I know I went to Goodrich. Grant Goodrich was the name of the school. I still got my diploma someplace. I'll have to look in my box.
Why did you stop going to high school after 2 years? Why didn't you go on after that?
Well, I'll tell you something. I was learning to be a barber. And everybody says, good, that's good trade. You can make a living as a barber all the time. So they said, what's the use going to school? You got to go to school. You a lot of years, and nobody knows what you're gonna be. Then you should better go to work. So I learned to be a barber. Says okay, we walk on the work, and for a fact, we did make pretty good. Like she came depression, and everybody was in a bad shape. Your father was Sherman Ivy made very nicely in the barber shop, and we didn't even see no depression. She says, you don't have to be anything else. A barber is good enough. But I had an opportunity because I could have gone. At that time, it cost almost nothing. You didn't have to go so many years to be a doctor or well, not a lawyer. Maybe I wouldn't be that, but I could have learned to be a doctor or a food doctor or a, see?
An accountant, you know, or something like that.
And
You're good with figures, you know.
Yeah, which I could have been a pharmacist.
Yeah.
You see this guy, one of them moved in today. He's about my age. He's about 88. And he said, he learned to be a pharmacist. This last years of his life, he's getting $25 an hour.
Gee.
$25 an hour. He got a lot of money. He lives there by us now. You see, but there was no one there to say, look, do this or do that. So nobody. So we were going along the way it is, and that's really it was our real life. And then we moved to the house on Springfield Avenue.
The one on 13th in Springfield? The one on 13th in Springfield?
Yeah.
So you moved from Racine and
Racine
Roosevelt Road to
12th Street. We moved.
13th in Springfield?
Yeah. Oh, you see, we had over there. See, your father was working in a barber shop over there, and the guy died, and so the barber shop was left. He took it over there, and we were making a nice living. Then we opened up on 16th in Springfield.
16th in Springfield.
On 16th Street, opened up a store, a barber shop. Maybe I think it was $10 a month rent or so, 12 or something like that. And yeah, but we were doing very nicely, very nicely.
How much was a haircut back?
A quarter.
A quarter for a
Quarter.
haircut on, so it would take you 40 haircuts or more to pay the rent, right?
Yeah,
I
well.
figured that one out in my head, you know, but that's a
Well,
lot of
yeah,
haircuts
yeah.
just for the rent.
Yeah,
you
we didn't see like, see, we made during the week of the first, like you pay the rent. See, like every Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember, we used to divide what we made. See, we didn't keep no books or something. Or I don't know, maybe it was the books, I don't even remember. So I used to give the money to my mother, Oliver Schul. She should rest in peace. And your father, he was already going for girls. I was too young yet. Yeah, I mean, that's what the Poliskis make. That's what they...
Well, most of us were normal, right? We like the women, right?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. That's, I have all the Poliskis doing that.
Plus, doesn't remember the names that Mark might need for.
Yeah, well, one of the questions I was going to ask Uncle Ben was, you know, like, it turned out that he has a couple of Livy Braverman's brothers and sisters. Like there was Mima Fega, Mima Chana,
Yeah,
And-
Hannah and Mima Fege,
and it's Feta Doodle.
Feta Doodle, yeah.
But there are a couple of others that we don't have the names. Uncle Ben
Yeah, you
doesn't
see,
remember.
there was two uncles. They had a carpenter shop where she was supposed to be learning to be a carpenter. Oh, they mistreated terrible.
Our relatives
Yeah,
mistreated one of our.
Yeah, our relatives, they mistreated because he was the kind of a guy, he was sort of an easygoing person. He didn't care. He done very good things. He was a very good natured person. Very good natured. And that's the weakness was of him. And that was his always. And so they used to chase him around. But he didn't care. He didn't care. They had a little basement. I remember it now. They had a little basement store, and on top of the store was a barber shop. That's where your father, Oliver Schul, used to work.
Okay, now was this in
That was
Russia
my-
or was this here in the United
That was,
States?
yes, they owned the carpenter shop. You know what they used to make? They used to make, and over there in the cruise ship, when a person died, they made,
The coffin?
they didn't make a box. And on those days to bury him, when they make a tomb, that was like a stone now. They used to make it out of wood. And they used to put it on top of the
And they would
grave.
carve in the name and the
Yeah.
dates and all that, but it was made out of wood
Out
rather
of
than
wood,
stone.
yeah. That's what they used to make mostly. It's, well, so many years ago, I didn't, we never paid attention to those things.
Do you think that graveyard there in Rochester is still there where they buried the people from that town? Because that would have all the records of, a lot of the
That's 100 years almost.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have destroyed it.
No.
Mariam's family.
Oh, Mariam. Yeah, what was, the first wife, like Joseph Polisky's first wife, what was her name?
I don't know.
You don't remember her name?
No.
Or where she?
No.
But Miriam had 3 children, right? Or she had 4 children.
Let's see, what did she have? She had,
She had
she,
Miriam.
Millie.
Oh, Millie, I mean.
Millie.
And David.
Huh?
Dave.
But there's another girl.
What was it? 2 women.
Yeah, what the heck was the name of the girl? I think I got a picture of her someplace at home.
Judy will remember what
She had a
Millie and
bird,
another girl.
another
2
girl.
daughters and 3 sons.
And then she had Dave, and but his name isn't. I don't remember, but the third one or not?
Yeah, he came to visit us all the time.
Dave.
But there was one, I know Judy will remember, we gotta get Judy, because she'll remember the other woman and
Oh, yeah, he was sort of.
he was a wandering guy.
Yeah, wondering guy. He was. Yeah. That's right. Oh, what the heck was it? Yeah, he used to come always. Used to.
He'd show up.
Yeah, show up. Yeah. That's right. What's his name? Yeah, she had 3
That was
boys.
Herschel.
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 What was the other son's name, babe?
Herschel, Dave.
Dave and the other?
Mitchell.
Mitchell. And
And
what was the other?
Francis
Francis and Millie.
And Millie.
and Millie.
Okay, so they were 5 children in that
Yeah.
family, but we don't know the name of that family, you know, like Miriam's mother.
I don't
She's
know
born-
my father's first wife's name. I wouldn't know. Probably if I could ask Dave, maybe you remember, but that would have been.
Did you talk to Dave? Was Dave?
Yeah, he calls me from New York.
And is it Mitchell that lives down in Florida? I thought Dave
He
lived
lives,
down in Florida.
no, he's not. He comes to Florida. Mitch is a very rich man, and not Dave. Dave married one chick. She's died, and he's got I think 3 children with her, and now he married another one, and had 1 child with her,
Mhm.
and he's very shaky. Every once in a while they don't get divorced, but they get separated and they come back again.
Uh-huh.
And they have a shaky life.
Shaky relationship.
Yeah. And then she's pretty nice woman. I know I was there. She treated me wonderful. But you know, and you know what? Dave likes the women too. He cheats a little bit here and there.
He's got the genes from the Polisky side are working for him, right? I think there's probably some breakfast. You know, we've been talking to you so much, it's, we gotta take a break and eat some breakfast so we can, your memory will work. You know, it's pretty bad when I can't remember Herschel's name since I spent so much time.
Ashley, I forget. You know what? And then he used to come walking in. He was coming in, and he died. He died in Florida. They set him up in Florida in a place, and he was there for a while. And then you see that their father, Mariam's husband, he was a very rich man. See,
What was his business, Uncle Ben? Was he a...
They were wrecking.
Oh,
buildings.
wrecking buildings, that's right,
Yeah.
knocking down buildings.
They were. I used to go there every year. I used to go visiting them every year.
And he was a nice guy, and I'm trying to remember...
Oh, he was such a nice, a
Lockdown
very
was
nice.
his name?
What?
Mutchell, yeah, but his last name was Lockdown?
Lockoff.
L-A-C-H-O-W?
Odob, yeah.
Yeah. Was he from Russia too?
Yeah, they came. They lived in Kiev.
Oh, so his family was in Kiev, but
Yeah.
Miriam grew up in Rzhishkova, right?
No, she went to Kiev when she was born, her mother died.
Yeah.
And she learned how to make stockings, men's stockings. There was no lady stockings. So she used to make, I think, those are it. So she went to Kiev, that's what they lived. And they went, because when she got married, I almost can remember her wedding. And I was about maybe 4 or 5 years old. Millie used to always remind me, you're 5 years older than me. She used to tell me, she liked me too, she wasn't. She came over, I played with her a little bit too. That's later days. But sort of the family didn't like her. Everybody had something to say in those days. And so she used to tell me, so I remember when they left for United States, Millie, Mariam, and her husband, and Millie was 1 year old. They came to us
In Chicago?
in Chicago, not in Chicago, in
Oh, in Register,
Register.
before they left.
They left for the United States before us.
Okay, but was my father already gone at that point? You know, when they came over, did Uncle She and my dad have already
Let's
left?
see. No.
They hadn't left yet.
No, they left much later.
But Auntie Dora and Sam, had they left?
They all were later, much later. Maybe.
So Miriam and Dave,
See that
and Muttle, they left first. I mean, they went.
they came to New York, originally.
Yeah.
And he had I think he had four brothers, and they started to build. And they had some problems between them too. The youngest brother used to be a lazy guy. He didn't want to work, but he took money. And so they kicked him out right away. But he had that problem. So he went in competition with them.
The one they kicked out.
Yeah, he opened up same sort of business. See, in those days, New York was coming up, so they had a lot of buildings to wreck. And look, and when they had a lot of people take the job, and you had to give a bid before you could get the job. You had a bid, so they used to monkey around. And so they'd come home and figure out how much they bid, whether they bid right or wrong, and if they think it was a wrong bid, they changed their mind. They wouldn't show up.
Oh, so they wouldn't deliver,
Yeah,
like, in other words,
no,
they would win the award and they wouldn't do the work.
That we wouldn't go to do the job. And so some of them had a bad name, so they keep changing the name all the time.
Things haven't changed any, Uncle Ben. That's still done today,
Right here, yeah. But I don't know. You see what they did, important to education they didn't have. You know what I mean? They, like, take for instance, now a person goes for this kind of work, he knows there's so much iron in the building, so much wood, so much of different things.
Yeah, copper.
They can figure out. They can see in the olden days there used to be copper pipes for the water.
Yeah.
To be copper pipes, so they used to figure these things out. But they were just using their common sense and nothing else. And you know what? The state. One day I came over there. You see, Wardle was a nice guy. As soon as he see me, take out a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, let's have a drink. He always loved to drink. He always, wherever he went, he always had a bottle of whiskey. I drink. He says, you know what? The state owes us there were only two brothers. In those days, only two brothers, and two sons from the brother, one son from each brother was in the business.
Which brother was in for him?
You see, they were three
Mitchell?
brothers, but no, no, Mitchell wasn't,
David?
David,
Yeah.
see? So, you see, they were in the business, he says, you know, the state owes me $1 million, more than $1 million, in those days, $1 million.
It was $1 million.
$1 million. See, they, after a while, they got established a little bit better, and they were very careful on the bids. Dave used to, then Dave went in by himself in the business too. He was.
Went against his father's business?
No, after his father died, they couldn't get along. See, Dave, he married his first wife. She was, in those days when Dave got married with his first wife, he took several $1,000s and he was traveling. I think he spent $5,000-6,000 traveling. So he married an airplane hostess.
Uh-huh.
She was a Cuban, she was a Spanish woman.
Uh-huh.
That's what he married. And he spent, you see, so they couldn't see it already. Well, he was a little bit, he went to college already, some. But he recently, he was doing very well even now, he says. But that's a story by itself from their life. See, so, but we had connections. We used to get together very much. Even in the army, Dave came, and I was in Indianapolis.
And he came to see
He
you?
came to visit me. And
I remember him coming to Chicago, you know, also around that time.
yeah, he came a few times, visit me. So I kept track of him. I kept track of the family. And then I was over by him in Florida a couple of times. I stayed one time, I came to Florida, stayed with him for a month. And they treat me.
What town is he in? Dave, in Florida. What town? Is he Fort Lauderdale or
No, he was by the airport. Very close to the airport.
in Miami?
In Miami, yeah. I think that's where he was. They treated me royal. I mean, there isn't a thing that he didn't do for me. We come back, he go every other night, take me and his wife a restaurant to eat, and wherever they went, they took me. I stayed there a month with him. Well, then he once came over here. He wanted to take me back to Florida to live there.
Uncle Ben, Auntie Anna married a guy named Isidore Polisky. His last name was Polisky.
Yeah.
Now, that seems kind of unusual, especially when you're doing a family tree. Did you guys know him in Rezhistever, or was he from Russia too, you know?
Yeah, you see, I saw him before anything, before even he was thinking about it in Rezhistever. He also left because he had to go to the army.
So he had to get out of the
He had to
country.
get out, yeah. So he was over there. He lived in a different section. He had a brother that converted to a goy, and he was he had selling iron, steel and iron at a store, and but he was a nice looking guy, and I remember him. I saw him one time before he left Rezhistever. He came over here,
But he came to Chicago, I mean, that,
Yeah, came to
this was
Chicago.
before Auntie Ida came over, because she came over with you and Auntie
Yeah,
Sarah.
he came before.
So he's living in Chicago.
Yeah,
Did he keep, did my father know him? Did Uncle Shia know him?
yeah, they knew him. They didn't know him they knew him like I knew him. We did
Casually.
We
Yeah.
didn't, and we don't even know how in the world he had that name.
And one of his brothers converted to
So,
Christianity.
yeah, he had a sister here too. We knew the sister lived even after he died. She was still alive, and she had a very bad reputation. She used to have different men all the time.
Oh,
Yeah, so she had a very bad reputation. But we knew her too. That's why I said I should have stayed a little longer. She knew much more about these
that
things.
relation, of all those people,
Yeah.
better. So, but he came from the same town and had the same name. He came to Chicago. Was there some reason he came to Chicago? It seems unusual to me that people would settle in Chicago if they could go to New York or Baltimore or to Florida or someplace like that. Why would you come to Chicago?
See, the reason we came to Chicago, I must have had I think his sister was here already. I don't know, all that is before my time. I didn't know that. See, when I came, I tell you, when I came here, I was still young, and I didn't know much about these things.
Uh-huh.
See, so, but we never stopped. I don't know why, but we never stopped to figure out where he comes from. See, we probably in those days we could have found out,
Mm-hmm.
but we never did. We never did. I know. Well, when we were musicians, we were pretty poor. Believe it.
I believe it.
Yeah, very poor, because she, like, I remember Mahana, she was selling, that's my mother's sister, she was selling pottery, had tap. Tap is dishes, not dishes, it's a cooking pot. She used to have, she used to have a place where every day they bring and display it on the outside.
Oh, so it's like a market, she would
Like a
bring her
market,
things,
yeah, like, yeah.
So pots and pans
I
and,
don't ever remember her having a husband. See?
Mimichana didn't have a husband?
She did have a husband, but he died.
Oh,
But
in
I don't
Virginia?
remember her having a husband.
Awesome.
And
Was she the oldest sister?
No, I think so. I think she was. And the Mifege, she had a husband. He was a butcher. They made a nice living there. See, he had a butcher shop over there.
Kosher butcher, of course.
Yeah. And had a butcher shop over there.
Was he a sheikh then? Her husband, he was a butcher. Was he
No,
also
he wasn't a sheikh,
So
no.
he'd have to have a sheikh come in and give him
Yeah. In those days, it didn't mean in a shiship, a sheikh, he had the title, but he didn't have no money.
Oh, is that right?
So nobody had money.
So did the people like trade services, rather,
Yeah,
no one had
yeah.
money, so if you were a barber, you would cut a guy's hair, he'd give you some meat?
No. It was so little. See, the barber business was so little. It was a quarter. It was a quarter haircut. And we used to shave in those days too. It was such a, I hated it. I had sharpen the razor. It was a big job. And so I tell you something, I never did like the barber business because before you make a quarter, you had to work at least a half hour or an hour with your hands. So I always look for something to do where I can make money faster.
Faster and not work so hard.
Yeah, I always did that. That was, see, even later on, when your father was on Springfield Avenue, and I used to come and help him, I didn't work in the barber shop. I always look for some kind of a work where I can make easier work and not work so hard and make a little more money. So that's what I was doing. See, your father, he was sort of settled in that, and then, well, he always made a nice. I mean, the living, everything else was cheap. See, when I was when I came to the army, it was only 35 cents a haircut. I worked in the post-section because I didn't want to go drilling and things. So I worked, and I got paid for working.
Over and above what you got from the army,
Yeah.
right?
Then they put out a law. They came and told us a soldier can't make no extra money.
Oh,
So they took us out of the
post
job.
exchange, yeah.
But
Uncle Ben, you had a jacket or something that you had from Camp Attlebury, that ended up somehow at my house, and it was tan, it said Camp Attlebury on
Could
it.
be, yeah.
Were you in Camp Attlebury when you were in the service?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was in Camp Attlebury. I didn't even know I had a jacket like that.
yeah.
I don't
I remember it said Camp Attlebury, and
Yeah,
it was in my house.
let's see, what was it? Was that in Texas someplace?
I thought it was in Indiana.
Indiana, I was in Indiana. I spent a lot of time in Indiana.
I don't think it was in Texas, though.
I was in not in Texas, but in the southern state for a while too. But I spent a lot of time in Indiana. See, my life, I can tell you, there was it wasn't so great, but the best part of it is I went to California, and nobody got a job. I got a permit and I was working right away, but I'm making $10 a week.
Doing what?
Barbershop.
You got into a barber shop? Didn't you have to get a license or something like
Yeah,
that?
you have to. Over there, you can't get that job. You have to get license. But I came in. I was a nice looking guy, and there was a girl at the desk over there, and I told her, "Look, I gotta eat. I gotta work. And if you don't give me a permit, I can't work." She gave me a permit. Yeah, I talked her out of it. She gave me a permit, and I got a job right away. But see, in the barber shop, even here, we worked on commission. You didn't get no wages. See, you worked, if there was work, you got half, they got half. And if you were a better barber, you maybe got 60%, 55%. So they didn't care. If you want to work, okay. So I was in California. In California, they bought in a studio. I forgot even the name of that was in the studio. So they all have their barbers. Everybody's used to one barber, and you couldn't get work. So they used to send me if anybody called to get a haircut at home.
So you would go make
I was
house
the
calls.
guy.
Yeah.
So, but in one way it was good. The tipping was good when they said, "See, over there already, they charged a little bit more money." And see, a haircut was 35, 40 cents, but they used to charge $1. And when you went home, it was a couple of dollars. And then all the second-hand hectares over there, and those days, they used to give you $1 tip or something. So I was making pretty good. And you know what? So they decided here, they decided here to send my mother to me over there. My mother was pretty sick, and she came out there, and I rented an apartment there, a nice apartment. And again, see, I was working for a German guy. His daughter was the beautician, so that was my my end of it. I start playing with her right away. And so the guy wants to say, hey, marry my daughter. So I can't marry your daughter. In those days, because she was a boy, in those days you wouldn't marry her. You see, so send my mother over there. She got very sick. So I took her back home. That's why I came back home. Otherwise,
You would've stayed in
probably I
California?
would have stayed in California. Yeah.
Uncle Ben, when you came here with your mother and your father and Auntie Ida and Auntie Sarah, how old were you? How old were you when you came?
I don't know. That's
Well,
what.
what year was it? 1913? So if you were born in 1903, you might have been 10 years old then.
Something.
1902, you'd be 11, somewhere in
Yeah,
10
something,
or 11. How
yeah.
old was Auntie Sarah? She must have been like 7 or 8 years old then.
Yeah,
7,
she was
and Auntie
younger.
Ida might have been about 15.
Well, I don't remember the age. I don't remember the age of anybody. That's why I say we got a passport. We're listed in some ages in the passport. But maybe I'll ask Pitch, she's still got
Got
it.
the pair. Yeah, we really should see
I
that. That'd
think-
be very interesting. Yeah.
I see we could go down to the library and get that book again.
And,
And I think our names are listed. I
and
think,
with the ages, right?
I think so.
Yeah. One other thing that's kind of interesting, we have other relatives that live in Southern California. There was the Poliskis that lived in California,
Not now. That is, yeah, we have a whole,
and the Kaladenkos.
we got a whole gang of them
Yeah.
in California.
When you were there, did you see them? Did you know the
Yeah,
Poliskis?
I know them from Chicago, all of them.
Did you see they came to Chicago first and then they went to California then?
They all lived in Chicago.
Yeah.
This was, those Poliskis are from my father's side.
So do you think that they're from the other 3 brothers that lived in, Registriver, those Poliskis that went to California?
There was one, their father was here, and he had a push cart. He peddled fruit and vegetables on Maxwell Street. And that's where they grew up. And they all lived over here. And they went to California. They're in California.
So that was your father's brother, that was Joseph's brother?
No, this was my father's brother's son.
Your father's, oh, I see.
My
Okay, now, your father's brother, son,
son.
what was his name? Do you remember?
Yeah, I can't think of it. What was the original name from the ones in California, like the Skady and
It was Poliski.
No, but what was the first name? And
what
what,
first name? What was his first name? He's a great big man. He's a great big fat man, and he I don't. See, that's where.
But you know what? Fanny and Mary could probably tell you because Esther was the woman. Esther.
Esther Poliski.
Esther Poliski.
But Esther was married to a Poliski. She's,
Right, but my aunts would probably know in California because they were friends with them. They lived just a few blocks
Yeah,
away.
they used.
So I could ask them.
Yeah, I forgot this now. I do them real well because
Was Jaime a Poliski?
Yeah.
It was Hyman Poliski, and there was
Katie.
and Kate.
Katie was crazy about me. She was a little redder than girl.
Very little.
She was recently, within I think maybe 8-10 years, she was here, and she got a hold of Ida. And she told Ida she always liked me. She wants me. She couldn't hear good. She was. Her husband died, and so I decided, hey, forget about it. Ben is good. I'm not gonna marry nobody.
He was confirmed as a bachelor.
Yeah, see that? I'll tell you something. I had the whole family. They never wanted me to marry. If I suggested I'm gonna marry someone, they wouldn't let me. They all put against it.
Wait a minute, Uncle Ben. Are you saying that the Poliskis, our relatives,
Yeah.
prevented you from getting
They
married?
didn't want me to marry nobody.
Judy,
Nobody was good
you
enough.
hear this? Nobody was good enough for Uncle Ben, and it was,
Yeah,
well, no one was good enough, but the thing is,
No, but that's what they told me.
that's what
Really?
they thought,
Then they
yeah.
had the first problems the first time.
You know what? what's his name, Hershey. Well, he has so much trouble. He had nice girls. His father and mother objected. They never, until she came. That was his, see, that's the reason I married. See, your father or sure decided to go the car business, so he sold his share of the barbershop to another barber. And this barber had a daughter. And so I married her. I stopped playing with her. See, so I wanted to marry her. So I married her, but we couldn't make it.
What was her name, Uncle Ben?
What was her name? I can think of it. My thoughts.
What was the name of the barber? What was his name?
Mendel.
Mendel. What was his last name? Was that his last name, Mendel, or was it
Melikov or something like that.
Monikov?
Yes,
Was he a
sir.
Russian, from Russia?
Yeah, they were.
Russian Jews?
The mother liked me better than the daughter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm telling you, at that time, you see, it wasn't. See, that's me. She says, "Want to get married?" So we got married, but it was no good for me. It wasn't any good because I was too much with a lot of women. She always. That's my nature. I said, oh, she had the same problem. He was cheating like anything. But, and then if a woman was available, they took it. They never hesitated. See, it wasn't the one of age in those days.
Yeah. Anyhow, how long were you married then, Uncle Ben? Was it a short time then?
Yeah, maybe,
I think it was a
see,
year.
over here,
I think it was a
since
year.
I'm here and everybody talks about it, I tell them my wife died of childbirth and we lasted about 3 years or 4 years. That's my story.
Oh, you mean that?
After I created that story, because right away when you meet women, were you ever married? Well, I was. It's a record. So I said, sure I was. 3, 4 years. What happened to your wife? She died. She was sick. She died. She is dead. I mean, she did
She
die.
did die.
Yeah. But you see, it's like everything else. If you give some kind of a reason, she died. What she died from? What kind of sickness? See,
It never ends. There's always a question.
people with the questions. So you can say, well, she had cancer in those days and she died. That's all. So I'm through with it. See, because you come over here, right away they want to know if you were married. Well, you got to tell, because if they go to the records, they can find it.
Sure.
So my story goes, I was married, and my wife died from childbirth, and that's all. And there's no record, no other record. So that's the way I go by now. Market, and see the market was such, was a good thing for me because it's like you have a farm and you plant things. You plant things and you
Harvest, yeah.
And you harvest. And, see, and I had the good sense enough to following it up, which I should have had more, but I would have had much more. But you see, that's why I had limited education. And that was, so I figured, see, my thoughts were this way. I don't know the market very well. I don't know what to do, but I'll buy General Motors. They are good companies, and they know how to run it. Let me have a part of that. So my idea was buy good companies. Sure. I made a mistake with General Motors. I bought General Motors way back there. There was a depression one time. General Motors was down for $2, $3. You see, but I didn't buy it then. When I bought it, it was $40. But that split about 16 times. but at that time I didn't understand. It went up, so I sold it to make the money. But if I continue, I would, one share probably would, 100 shares probably be worth maybe $100,000. That's all. I remember I used to give the wedding presents. I used to give out 1 share of stock. I give Bill 100. I 1 share. I think at that time was 50, 40. At that time, you give a $50 gift to a wedding. You were
Real sport.
big sport. And then, and it went to maybe 25, 30 shares, 30 shares they have. And so, if I would hold on to these companies, I probably would have been 3 times a millionaire over again. But
Uncle Ben, I was sort of a beneficiary of that too, because one time you visited me, and after you left, you gave me 1 share of Schlumberger.
yeah.
That 1 share at that time was $100, which was a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
generous gift.
It was.
Within 7 years later, I sold it, unfortunately, but it was worth $1,350.
See, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it was worth 13 and a half times in 7 years what you originally gave me, you know. And it helped to educate my children. Which
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter, but I mean, in those days, if I could have bought up, the market was, I mean, the stock was very low. I didn't need it to live it, so I could have bought up, which I did. Some of the stocks I have 15, 20 years, or maybe more. See, this is what, in those days, you could go to the company and buy 5 shares at a time, 3 shares at a time, and it kept developing. You see, and then they got smart. They would sell. They would sell
small
one.
amounts.
Yeah, because I gave a lot of people 1 share. One share I figured was then. See, because I used to get it free. See, they split. Some of them gave you. That's what. Look, I got now more than 800 shares of Schlumberger.
Very funny company.
And you know what? When I came and said, when it came out, it's pronounced Schlumberger, but it's Schlumberger.
Yeah.
What kind of Schlumberger? What kind of a name is Schlumberger?
Well, you know, I heard it pronounced both ways because, like, when they would give the report, you know, on the news or something like that, because sometimes it's the most active or something of that nature, half the announcers says Schlumberger and half of them says Schlumberger. But it is a French company.
Yeah.
But in that part of France, there are a lot of Germans. And, you know, I guess there is some discussion on what is the right pronunciation. You know, we've run Uncle Ben for about an hour without giving him anything to eat. I think we got to be fair here and give him something, fuel him up.
You mean
So,
Uncle Ben?
Uncle Ben, you're ready for some breakfast,
Okay,
aren't you? They got
the
some fried.
classes are on the way over.
See, I usually see, look, it's, what time is it? 9:30?
9:30. He is about
That's my second serving already.
Yeah, you're overdue.
Yeah, I'm
Albert.
overdue.
Okay, well, the classes are on their way over.
Oh, we're gonna have
Give me
breakfast
5
with the,
minutes.
so 5 minutes. So they give me
I
a
got
chance.
time.
I got a question to ask you. Like, if you were to describe, like, the kind of people your brothers and sisters were, what kind of, was he friendly? Was he, you know, would you say he was charitable, you know, a nice guy? You know, how would you characterize
Yeah,
him?
he was, I tell you something, people have a lot to do with the time. Don't forget, see, that's one thing. Like take for instance, Uncle Max was a guy that always wanted to take charge. He wanted to be in charge of the thing. See, he wasn't a guy like trustworthy, but he liked the women too. I mean, when I saw him, I didn't know what he was doing, but And the guy stays in the bedroom with the girl, you know what he's doing. But now I know, then I didn't know at that time. But he was sort of so mostly selfish, more selfish because he didn't, well, that's why they had some problem. Your father and him had a little problem. The fetadoodle mixed in, see? He said, Lovell, look, you work so hard, you make a little money, put it in the house. And nobody makes as much as you. He ought to give you a little more than your father didn't see it that way. See? So he come one day and he said, look, Muscle, guy, you got all the money, I got nothing. What happened? So he got mad. Got mad, yeah. He says, they got mad that Uncle Lewis for saying all these things. And they got mad, said, okay, let's separate. And that's the time they sort of separated somebody. I don't remember what the outcome was, how they went about, but that's the time your father had started to establish a little money because you see, like take for instance, we had, in those days there was a grocery bill. You take on the book, you mark on the book. The grocery bill was taken advantage too. See, and he came to the grocery, and at the end of the week, your father used to make, those days, make $15, which nobody made. That was the best wages. And he got, so he took the money, he went to the grocery, he stuck in the bill, didn't tell nobody what he done. But you see, after he got married to this, Max got married to this lady, really, and she was very good-natured lady.
Wonderful.
But he was more, it seemed to us that he was more with them and tried to do with her family than he was to her. Like he wanted to show off on different things. Right? Even if there was a marriage, he would give her the honor of give her some money. And Max didn't make much money as a worker. He didn't make much money at all. He didn't have no trade or something. So he didn't make much money, but he made money from all of the people except me. I wasn't working yet. See? And he was making money from all the rest.
Brothers and sisters.
Yeah. See, because all that money came in
To the house.
to the house.
And he was like the focal point, or the, you know, he was the leader, or the,
he
the
always,
main person of the
yeah,
group.
he took over.
He took over.
Yeah, he took
And so
over.
he really was like your father, who was a little older at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So Uncle Max was like the,
The
you know, the
father
elder,
of the,
the father of the family.
yeah, because the father never did much, like disciplining us or not. We were all good. I mean, we never done anything. We had respect. We have never done anything out of the way to, none of us, nobody did. The kids were very truthful to the family. They see, whatever they did, they were trying to help one another. But that was the only time when your father broke up with Uncle Max, said they give so much and no more. You see, but since he was a barber, and so he was independent. He had a job all the time. He worked all the time. And, on his day off, he used to go drink soda water, chocolate soda water, a penny a glass, and eat bananas. He used to buy bananas. We used to go ice cream, a brick ice cream. You know, a brick, that was an ice cream, a brick ice cream. It's maybe a half a gallon, I think, or something like that. Make 2 sandwiches for him and me, I'll tell you, we used to celebrate. On his day off,
yeah.
oh, we had such a
Was
good
his day
time.
off a Sunday, usually? Was day off?
No, we're mostly, we worked on Sunday, and those days
So,
were,
you, like, it could have been in the middle of the week or something?
yeah, middle of the week. But when he had the day off, see, he didn't go out with no girls or nothing to spend money. With him and I, yeah, we used to go in there, we used to go spend the money. We had a very good life together. I mean, we were like together all the time, see? And so that's what Mac's way of life. But you can't blame sometimes a person's personality changes with the times.
Sure, and the conditions. Sure.
Yeah, you
And
see,
he was, he was the oldest, and he probably felt he was responsible.
yeah, and he used to discipline us, because you gotta say, don't do anything because Uncle Max can beat you. See, he never did, but he threatened.
Yeah.
And everybody respected the family. You see, all our family was very respectful. They've never done anything out of the way. And, so that's why everybody conducted himself accordingly. So Max's personality, I would say, is something with the times. At one time, he was one way, next years later he changed, because for her family, he used to do a lot of things, whatever he could, because after a while, you see, but when he became the pawnbroker, he was, for a while, he was making very, very good. So he became a very rich man, but then they came in bad times, and bad times too. But he used to do a lot of things. He did like freedom, he used to love, see poor people. She invited him, give him all the food she get. She loved to do that.
She was a very generous.
Very generous person, yeah. See, this is what happened. So actually, you can't judge if you take that person for a long stretch and say, well, he was that was his real personality. But it can't say that because it changed. That wasn't the same. But I would put him a little more selfish than other ones. See, like your father, he was the kind of a man that willing to help. Like some guys used to come, especially after my father died. He used to go to shul. He started going to shul in the morning and at night, and he became
Fairly religious.
yeah, fairly.
Was that where it happened, Uncle Ben? Was it because of when your father
Yeah.
passed away, he has the cottage? So he started going to shul?
Yeah, he started going to shul and he became, and on some days they bring 2-3 men to cut their hair, charge him nothing.
But because they needed it. But it really seemed to me, are we finished?
Take a break.
Okay. We're going to take a break when we talk, but I was
He's
kind
not
of...
taking a picture.
Right now, he's cut it off, I guess. But you know what I was going to ask you about? It seemed to me like my father, all his brothers and sisters, he was the most religious.
Not much religion, but they were holy stories. I mean, everybody wasn't around him to be a religious.
No, I understand that, but like he would go, I mean, it seemed like...
Orthodox.
Yeah, but like for the holidays, he had a seat and shawl. Uncle Chia would come and sit with us, but it seemed like my father was like the main driving force.
Yeah, he was, see, after Max got married, he was sort of sticking more away from the family. He was sticking to her family, he wanted like a show off. He wanted everybody to think that he's the big man, and that's what he was. But your father, as I said before, he made a nice living, considering, and he was considered a pretty wealthy person because he worked and he made a nice living. And I tell you something, sometimes I think with less money we live better than we live with big money now. You see, in those days the women didn't go out to work. The women took care of the house, the children, the cooking, but then later on, nowadays the wife has to work, otherwise you can't pay the rent. It's the car.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody had a car in them days.
Uncle Ben, you want a little more coffee? You want that warmed up?
Yeah, this is cold already. I'm not going to drink until we're going to get into something. If not,
Okay, well,
I'm gonna make us, yeah.
is
We're
there
gonna
any,
put you up for the Academy Award.
On the dining room.
yeah,
We're gonna nominate you for next Academy Award.
yeah, they nominate you. Yeah, they sure. That's what they do in the place where I stay now. If you do good work, you get an award. Every once in a while, they give you an award. I got about 4 or 5 already.
That's good.
They give you.
You get one for this too.
We didn't put the national scale.
I put it in something else.
Well, I tell you, I should have done this maybe 10 years ago. My mind, I forget a lot of things.
You remember a lot too.
Oh my goodness, it covers so much territory.
I didn't spill a lot, but I dribbled.
Don't forget, I'm not youngster. My age is up there.
There's a lot of years.
I know.
Yeah, and a lot of things, names and places that I forget, things that have happened. I can only tell if you ask questions. Otherwise, I can't sit down and
I'm
start.
gonna warm up your coffee a little bit. Uncle Ben.
Okay, that's all right.
They use that.
I think I'm gonna do it if I can get this thing to pour.
Yeah, that's enough.
This will make it a little warmer.
Yeah.
I'm not good at pouring it without spilling.
That's all right. Look,
I got some.
You got some?
Have any more?
You won't sleep for a week.
see, that's what I try to explain. The time, you can't judge a person's personality with 20, 30 years. Times change, personalities change. It can't be the same.
You girls are the
But I
ones
tell
who
you one
make
thing,
figurative business.
all I know my brothers all like to live in.
All
All of them.
that stayed the same.
Yeah, they got, well, maybe they changed some, but
You know that key person in the family, the linchpin in the family, a lot of people probably didn't even think that, Nancy Dora. Because if it hadn't been for her,
they
we'd all still be in
would be
Russia.
in New York. They
Or
would
be in New
New York.
York.
They wouldn't have been in Chicago at all. And that, because of her, that's why we wind up over here.
Yeah. I mean, it's so incredible, you know, that that's how it worked out, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then you're gonna have to give me Dave's phone number and I will call him and then ask him about the lockout family. Okay?
When's the last time you saw Dave?
Well, before me,
Before you saw him?
I just
Judy,
saw
was
my,
it Mitchell that used to come in and give us all the pens and what was
Yeah.
his wife's name?
I remember that.
Yeah.
every
We get all the
St.
pens
Patrick's
and
Day.
Yeah.
hey, Mitch is a very rich man. Dave ain't got nothing. But
Mitchell got some money.
Mitchell's a
But
very-
Mitchell was a kind of a tightwad though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
We're not on tape, I don't want that, I don't want to go on record as saying that.
Mitchell, well, he always see over there in New York, these people, the first thing they do, they got jobs in the city, working for the city. And working for the city, they always had another job. They always had 2 jobs. he had a job for the city, then he was manufacturing pens, and he was selling pens for some company. And then he was the president of the shul. See, but Dave, he didn't have no time for that.
He was too busy with the ladies.
Yeah. He's got, Mitchell has a very nice wife, very quiet, nice
He
lady.
had 2 daughters, didn't he?
And a son.
2 daughters and a son?
Has it been going all this time?
Let's see, what is he, I don't,
Hey, can you edit that tape? And I said something I don't want on there.
see,
I had a moment of lucid honesty.
he has a daughter in Florida that lives pretty good. Mitchell. But Dave,
Oh, she's not
Dave has problem.
About other.
This new wife couldn't get along with his son. Someone in the 20s now. Couldn't get along with him. So he was living with him, but they made him move.
Did you change the diaper?
The son couldn't get along with Dave. The son didn't get along with him.
Not with his
Oh,
wife.
with his wife. Did she try to discipline him, or, was it?
No, you see, what she used to object. He was kind of a guy, young guy. He come clean up that frigidaire. He's like a horse, and he clean up. She says, "Yeah, he tell me. He did something that we don't have it, but we need it." See, and he didn't want to work. He slouched around. So she started objecting to it. See, because she worked, this new wife, she worked all the time. She worked,
That's nice.
she's much younger than him too.
Much younger than Dave.
Sure.
Uncle Ben, since I came here on Wednesday, the sun has only been out one time. Very briefly yesterday. The Chicago weather, I thought, or the Midwest weather would have improved by this time.
Well, lately,
It was so nice last week. It was gorgeous. I mean, it was like 70 degrees,
we don't
sunny.
get such good weather.
I'll tell you the way it looks to me, it looks like we're gonna have rain today because the wind's blowing and it's real cloudy, so we'll probably get a thunder shower or something.
Yeah, that's what they said. 70% chance, I guess.
And here I talk a lot. Mostly when I'm there, see these women, they don't let you talk. They talk, you gotta listen. We got some ladies over there, they get a hold of your hand, they don't let you go. They talk continuously.
You gotta put your hands in your pockets.
Seymour,
No, they get a hold of your hand.
Oh, really?
They hold it, and they talk.
Seymour, did you take pictures with
No, I
You
didn't
wanted to, well, maybe a breakfast, finish up your film.
Okay.
See, all these stories I tell, you gotta record, because I don't know if I can remember all most of the things myself. See, I forget the name. And I knew that Polisky, I knew his name. I can't think of his first name.
This is the Polisky that, the father of California.
I knew, but I know for sure that was my father's nephew. See, but it wasn't his brother.
Ben, was it a big disgrace, like you were saying, that Isidore's brother converted to Christianity?
Oh, yeah.
So embarrassing and insulting to,
And in those days,
Do you have any of your rolls
if
on?
a person committed something like that, then he's dead to the
I
family.
didn't put,
The father and mother was in Shiva, they say,
like,
died. It's not them, that's the way they do it.
yeah?
Even now it's considered pretty bad, but not as bad. See all these marriages, those days we couldn't see anything like that. See, because, see, the Jewish boys used to go with the shiksas for one reason. But they married.
And I got your workers in all over.
They married two girls. And there was no divorcing. Like at least not. Even a divorce was a
Disgrace.
disgrace. Yeah.
I know, that's why I didn't do it years ago.
Okay, Les, I gotta go.
Can I put apple?
Let's do it again. Ready? Go. Here you go. Ready? No. No. Yes. Here you go. Wait. Look at